In the golden haze of the dawn, before the heat begins to shimmer off the African plains, a shape emerges from the shadows. It is vast, gray, and wrinkled, a moving mountain against the horizon. As it steps forward, the dust rises in slow, deliberate clouds. This is not merely an animal. It is a relic of a bygone era, a living monument to evolutionary resilience. This is the elephant. To look into the eye of an elephant is to look into deep time. They are the architects of the landscape, the gardeners of the forest, and the keepers of ancient wisdom. They walk the earth with a quiet dignity that belies their colossal power, carrying with them a lineage that stretches back millions of years. Before humans walked upright, the ancestors of the elephant roamed every continent except Australia and Antarctica. From the woolly mammoths shivering in the ice of the tundra to the straight-tusked elephants of the temperate forests, their family tree was once vast and varied. Today, only 3 distinct species remain to carry the torch of this magnificent order: the African savanna elephant, the African forest elephant, and the Asian elephant. Though separated by oceans and adaptations, they share a common spirit, a biology that defies imagination, and a social complexity that rivals our own. To understand the elephant, one must first appreciate the sheer scale of their existence. The African savanna elephant is the largest land animal on the planet. A fully grown bull can weigh as much as 6 tons and stand 13 feet at the shoulder, but their size is not just for show. It is a fortress against predation and a tool for survival. Yet, for all their bulk, they move with a surprising, almost ghostly silence. Their feet are engineering marvels equipped with thick, fatty pads that cushion their immense weight, allowing them to tread softly across dry leaves without snapping a twig. This padding also serves a secondary hidden purpose. It allows them to listen through the ground. Elephants can detect the rumbles of a distant herd or the approach of a vehicle through seismic vibrations traveling through the earth, felt through their feet and traveled up into their ears. Dominating the elephant's visage is a feature unlike any other in the animal kingdom: the trunk. It is a masterpiece of evolution, a fusion of the nose and the upper lip, containing no bones but over 40,000 distinct muscles. It is an organ of terrifying strength and delicate precision. With this single limb, an elephant can tear down a baobab tree or gently pluck a single blade of grass. It acts as a snorkel while swimming, a hose for showering, a hand for greeting, and a trumpet for warning. But perhaps most importantly, it is their window to the world. An elephant's sense of smell is superior to that of a bloodhound. They can smell water from miles away, detect the hormones of other elephants, and distinguish between threats and friends just by sniffing the air. Framing the face are the ears, vast flaps of skin that act as biological air conditioners. The African elephant, living in the blistering heat of the equator, possesses ears shaped like the continent of Africa itself. Riddled with a complex network of blood vessels, the ears allow the elephant to regulate its body temperature. By flapping them, they can cool their blood by several degrees, circulating that cooler blood back through their massive bodies to prevent overheating. The Asian elephant, dwelling in the cooler, shaded canopies of the rainforest, has smaller, rounded ears, yet they serve the same vital function. And then, there are the tusks. These elongated incisors are symbols of majesty, but tragically, they are also the source of the elephant's greatest sorrow. Used for digging for water, stripping bark from trees, and fighting for dominance, tusks are essential tools. They are the elephant's Swiss Army knife. Yet because of human greed for ivory, these teeth have become a target. In a heartbreaking twist of evolution, we are now seeing more tuskless elephants being born. Nature's desperate attempt to save the species by removing the very thing we covet. But the biology of the elephant is only half the story. To truly know them, we must look at their hearts. Elephants are creatures of society, bound together by ties that are as strong as they are complex. The core of elephant society is the family unit, and at the center of this universe is the female. Elephant society is a matriarchy. The leader is not the strongest or the most aggressive, but the oldest and wisest female. She is the library of the herd. She holds the knowledge of the landscape in her mind, a mental map of where water was found during the great drought of 30 years ago, or which migration routes are safe from poachers. The bond between female elephants is one of the most profound in nature. Mothers, daughters, sisters, and aunts live together in a tight-knit group. They practice allo-mothering, a system where every female in the herd helps to raise the calves. A baby elephant is never alone. If a calf stumbles, a dozen trunks reach out to steady it. If it is threatened, a wall of gray muscle instantly forms around it, tusks facing outward, a fortress of rage and protection. This deep socialization begins at birth. Elephant calves are born into a celebration. The herd will trumpet and rumble, touching the newborn with their trunks, welcoming it into the fold. For the males, life follows a different path. As they reach adolescence, around the age of 12 to 15, the urge to wander takes hold. They gradually leave the maternal herd, venturing out into the world. But contrary to popular belief, the life of a bull elephant is not entirely lonely. They form bachelor herds, loose associations where older bulls mentor the younger ones. They spar, they learn hierarchy, and they learn the manners required to one day approach a female. The life of a bull is dominated by the phenomenon of musth, a periodic state of heightened testosterone where a male becomes aggressive and obsessed with mating. It is a time of intensity where the gentle giants become biological battering rams, fighting for the right to pass on their genes. It is in the realm of intelligence and emotion that elephants truly challenge our understanding of what it means to be an animal. They possess a hippocampus, the part of the brain linked to emotion and memory, that is even larger than a human's. The saying, "an elephant never forgets," is rooted in scientific fact. They remember individuals they haven't seen in decades. They remember grudges, and they remember kindness. But do they feel? The evidence suggests they feel deeply. Elephants are one of the very few species that appear to understand the concept of death. When a herd comes across the bones of a deceased elephant, a hush falls over them. They stop. They investigate. With delicate touches of their trunks, they caress the skulls and the tusks, focusing on the ivory. It is a silent, somber ritual that looks indistinguishable from mourning. They do not do this for the bones of other animals. They recognize their own. This capacity for grief speaks to a level of self-awareness and empathy that bridges the gap between us and them. They comfort each other in times of stress, intertwining trunks and emitting low, soothing rumbles. Their communication is a complex language, much of which is hidden from human ears. While we hear the trumpets and the screams, much of their conversation happens in infrasound, low-frequency rumbles below the range of human hearing. These sounds can travel for miles through the air and the ground, allowing separated groups to coordinate their movements. An elephant can call for help, announce a birth, or warn of danger across vast distances, creating a long-distance network that keeps the population connected across the vast expanse of the savanna or the dense thickets of the jungle. In the ecosystem, the elephant is a keystone species. This means that without them, the environment would collapse. They are the great engineers of the wild. As they move through the bush, they push over trees and trample thorny scrub, preventing the savanna from turning into a closed forest. This opens up grasslands for zebras, gazelles, and wildebeest. When they dig for water in dry riverbeds with their tusks, they create wells that provide water for lions, hyenas, and birds long after the elephants have moved on. In the forests of Central Africa and Asia, they are the supreme gardeners. Elephants consume vast quantities of fruit, and their dung is a rich fertilizer filled with seeds. Because they travel such long distances, they disperse these seeds far away from the parent tree, ensuring the genetic diversity and regeneration of the forest. Many tree species rely entirely on the elephant's digestive system to germinate. If the elephant disappears, these trees will vanish, and the forest will begin to die. The health of the wilderness is inextricably linked to the footprint of the elephant. However, this ancient majesty is under siege. The story of the elephant in the 21st century is a story of conflict. The greatest predator the elephant has ever known is not the lion or the tiger, but the human. For centuries, the demand for ivory has driven a massacre. The white gold of their tusks has been carved into trinkets, statues, and piano keys, fueling a trade bathed in blood. In the grand scale of history, the slaughter has been industrial. Hundreds of thousands of elephants have been gunned down, leaving orphans to starve and herds shattered. The older generations, the carriers of wisdom, are often the first to be targeted for their larger tusks, leaving the young without guidance, creating a generation of traumatized, directionless elephants. Beyond poaching, a newer, perhaps more insidious threat looms: habitat loss. As the human population explodes, we encroach further into the wild. Farms replace forests, fences cut off ancient migration corridors, roads slice through the heart of the herd's territory. Elephants, requiring massive amounts of food and space, find themselves squeezed into smaller and smaller islands of wilderness. This leads to human-wildlife conflict. Hungry elephants raid crops, destroying a farmer's livelihood in a single night. In retaliation, they are often killed. It is a tragic cycle where both man and beast struggle for space and survival on a shrinking planet. The Asian elephant, in particular, is in a precarious position, with less than 50,000 remaining in the wild. Their fragmented populations are often in direct contact with dense human settlements in India, Thailand, and Sri Lanka. Here, the struggle is daily. Yet in these cultures, the elephant is also revered. They are gods, symbols of luck and prosperity, creating a complex relationship of worship and conflict. Yet the story is not over. It is not yet a tragedy written in stone. Across the globe, an army of conservationists, rangers, researchers, and local communities are fighting to turn the tide. In Africa, anti-poaching units patrol the savannas, often risking their lives to shield the herds. Technology is joining the fight. Drones, satellite tracking, and AI are being used to monitor movements and predict threats before they happen. More importantly, the philosophy of conservation is shifting. It is no longer just about fences and guns. It is about community. Projects that allow local people to benefit from wildlife tourism are changing the narrative. When a community sees an elephant not as a crop raider, but as a source of economic stability and national pride, the elephant is safe, Corridors are being re-established to link fragmented habitats, allowing the genetic flow to resume and the ancient migrations to return. Sanctuaries have sprung up to care for the victims of this war. In Kenya, orphanages rescue calves found standing vigil over their dead mothers. Keepers wearing green coats become surrogate mothers, sleeping alongside the babies, feeding them milk, and teaching them how to be elephants until they are strong enough to return to the wild. These scenes of redemption, of a human comforting a traumatized calf, show the other side of our species, our capacity for compassion. As the sun sets on the savanna, painting the sky in hues of purple and fire, the herd begins to move again. The matriarch lifts her trunk, testing the wind. She rumbles, a sound felt in the chest more than heard. The calves tuck in close to their mother's legs. They march on, as they have done for millennia, walking the path of their ancestors. The elephant is a mirror. In them, we see the best and worst of ourselves. We see our capacity for destruction in the ivory trade, but we also see our capacity for love in the faces of those who protect them. We see reflected our own social bonds, our own intelligence, and our own vulnerability. A world without elephants is a world diminished. It is a world where the forests grow silent and the savannas lose their architects. It is a world where the greatest land mammal is reduced to a picture in a book, a myth for future generations. But as long as there are people willing to fight for them, the rumble of the herd will continue. The gray giants are still here. They are watching us, waiting to see if we are worthy of sharing this planet with them. The future of the elephant is not just a question of biology. It is a question of our own humanity. Will we let the sun set on the titans, or will we ensure that they continue to walk the earth, majestic and free, until the end of time? The choice is ours.